Good evening and welcome to another edition of the HCC Experience. It's a great way for us to communicate with the community about some of the exciting things that are happening at Hutchinson Community College, and also a wonderful way to introduce the communities to some of the staff and employees at Hutchinson Community College who make our institution so very strong. Tonight's guest is Cindy Keast, and Cindy Keast is the director of the Endowment Association at Hutchinson Community College, and she also is director of the Alumni Association. Kind of tell us a little bit about the Endowment Association, what the Endowment Association does, what its responsibilities are, and how one might become involved with the endowment.
Okay. The Endowment Association's mission is to help students who are continuing their education at Hutchinson Community College to be able to afford to come to college. As we all know, the costs of a college education are continuing to rise each year, and so the need for financial assistance is becoming more and more important for students. So our primary function is to raise dollars and to help students be able to attend HCC in a more economical and affordable manner. We also work with the college administration in fundraising to help with buildings, getting buildings built, Gowan Stadium, helping with the Richard E. Smith Science Building, those types of things. And also to build relationships within the community, building relationships with our alumni, building relationships with the students that are attending HCC, and just further developing the Endowment Association as a whole.
You know, you give a lot of scholarships from the Endowment Association. Mm-hmm. That really is a lot of the thrust of the organization. How many different kinds of scholarships are there available for students? And how do you go about, I guess, making the awards and deciding who should be a recipient of a scholarship?
Well, we have a wide variety of scholarships. We have scholarships that are available for students going into specific departments, whether they might be a science major, whether they're going into the nursing field. We also have a wide variety of scholarships for general academic students. We have scholarships based on students who have a financial need to attend school. And what we do is we have a scholarship process. Any student who is interested in applying must fill out a scholarship application form. And with that, the priority deadline is February the 15th. And a very key component of the scholarship application is to include a personal statement. We need to know why do you need a scholarship? How is it going to benefit you? What is your area of interest that you're going into? Because we have many scholarships that donors have provided that have specific criteria. So we're looking to match a student with a scholarship based on certain criteria. We have a committee that works on that, and it's a process. We work very hard to make sure we try to match up the right student with the right scholarship, and then again help to develop a relationship between the donor and the student. This year we helped over 450 students with scholarships, and of course each year we continue to want to raise additional dollars to be able to help more students, because there is a definite need for more scholarship dollars.
So when you have this the scholarship process, it's a competitive process as far as making those awards.
Yes.
To the student. The student has a priority deadline of February 15th.
February the 15th.
I'm assuming we're getting a lot of scholarship applications in now.
Yes, we are starting to get them, and then the big push or the big thrust we will see will start the 1st of February. One thing I would encourage anybody is if you do miss that priority deadline, don't think that you are completely ineligible. Please make sure to go ahead and complete the scholarship application, get it turned into our financial aid office, because as the months progress, there could be scholarships that open up that we will need to find students to fill.
So the priority deadline is the February 15th.
Correct.
You have all those scholarships in.
Yes.
Now, who reviews those? Who decides who are the recipients of the scholarship awards?
Well, we have several different committees that work together. We also get recommendations from faculty, especially when we're working with specific scholarships, whether it's from the Fine Arts Department, Science Department. We talk to the faculty there and get recommendations from them to help through this process. So we work really hard, and we really try to get a lot of information put together to make the decisions.
So you gather information from all those sources. Mm-hmm. Committee reviews that and makes the award, correct? So when are those awards actually made? When can the student, or when does the student know that he or she has received a scholarship?
We will start making awards potentially towards the end of January, the 1st of December, our presidential and our presidential leadership. And then the majority of the endowment scholarships, those awards will go out, I would say, by the middle of March to the 1st of April.
Why is it so important to get that award letter out early in the year? You're talking late February, you're talking about early March, getting those awards out. Why is that important?
Well, the importance to that is then a student and their family can see what their scholarship package from Hutchinson Community College is going to be and what a benefit and how it's going to help them to be able to attend HCC in the fall.
Now, if I'm a donor and I have an interest in perhaps providing a scholarship for a student, how specific can I be with my request? I say I'm going to want to provide a $1,000 scholarship. How much detail can I give you in my request?
Well, we would sit down with the donor and we would discuss that. You can pick a specific area that you want to go into. We can discuss financial need. We can discuss if there is a minimum GPA that you want the student to complete. We can get as detailed as you want to. Sometimes, though, it's easier for our committee if the criteria is a little broader. But we are more than willing to work with the donor and to get the criteria to their specifications.
So I can specify a graduate from a particular high school,
yes,
majoring in perhaps a science area, having a grade point average of 3.0, and perhaps having a need, right? That would be, maybe that would be kind of a typical kind of,
yes,
of outline.
Yes, it would be.
And for your purposes, you might say, you know, that's pretty specific. Can you cut me some slack?
And we ask to have maybe a first preference, and then if we can't find a student that fits that bill, can you give us another parameter to go by? And they're very, very easy to work with. Very easy to work with.
But a donor can't say, I'm giving you a scholarship, I want Johnny Smith,
No,
my cousin, to get that scholarship.
no, they cannot.
And you might kind of explain to the audience why that
Well,
would be the
the
case.
reason why that is because of their charitable gift and the IRS stating that upon that gift, the donor cannot make the selection, that the gift is given with criteria and that a committee will be the ones who makes the selection.
So that keeps us in good shape as far as our 501c3 status,
Right.
tax-free status.
Right, right. And it also makes it where the donor can use their donation as a charitable gift and use it on their taxes.
So do we provide them any kind of documentation? for
Yes,
the
we do.
gift?
We, with their donation, we will send them a letter that they can use when it comes time for preparation of their taxes. They will have that. And then we also, when donors endow, we also have a donor agreement that we work up with them and have that on file at the college.
You know, we talk about specifics, and we talk about that in terms of perhaps an individual making a contribution. What happens if a club organization, say the Kiwanis Club at Pumpkin Center, wants to make a scholarship award to their favorite son or daughter from that community? Is that allowable?
What?
They say, you know, she's a graduate of Pumpkin Center High School. Our criteria is that we want that person to have that scholarship because she is going to your school and she won a contest and is the recipient.
Well, now, that could be handled differently. That type of situation, if the Kiwanis Club or the organization is making the selection themselves, then they would just send their contribution to our business office, and that would be applied to that student's account.
So that would not go through the Endowment Association?
Not that one, but we have a lot of organizations that we work with here in the community, and they have criteria set up, but our committee makes those selections based on the criteria that they have set up with us.
So the award's made, the criteria is followed, and that is different than the example I just provided.
Yes, yes. If a club or organization chooses the recipient themselves, then we have it handled through the business office.
What's a range of scholarships? What's the average scholarship award that the endowment makes?
Average scholarship award for the year, I would say, would be $650 to $700 for the year.
Does that include books?
No, it doesn't. Not always.
You know, that's one of the things that maybe some of our listeners don't understand is that if you look at escalating costs at a college, tuition has certainly increased, but a greater escalation really has taken place
Definitely.
in the book side. What's it cost a student to buy books at Hutchinson Community College
We
today?
would say the average cost for a student is probably between $350 and $450 per semester.
So you're talking $700 a year for books?
And it can increase depending on the area of interest that they go in, because sometimes students who are in the allied health programs, those books seem to be a little more expensive than a student who's maybe a general studies student. So it can get up to upwards to, I think, even maybe $900 for the year.
You mentioned allied health as being an area where the cost of books are really very expensive.
Yes.
And the issue there with those individuals is they don't usually resell those books.
No, they want to keep them because they may use them the second year, or they may want to keep them just for knowledge after they've graduated from their program.
So they recommend they keep those books for their career when
Yes, they do.
when they go out into the field.
Definitely.
Do we, looking at you talk about 400 or 500 different scholarships awarded a year, talking about the average size of our scholarship being about $700. There are a couple of other categories too, the Presidential Scholarship
Yes.
and Leadership Scholarship. You might talk about how many of those are awarded on an annual basis and what that scholarship is.
That program has really significantly grown over the years. We started back in 1997, if I remember correctly, with just approximately 35 students. And now, from the presidential program, we've evolved into the Presidential Leadership Program. And the past 2 years, we have provided approximately 160 students between those two programs scholarships. The scholarship for that program is $1,250 for the year, plus their books. And it has really brought a tremendous growth to our clubs and organizations. We've developed a really wonderful honors program through the college, and it's just been a huge benefit in so many ways for the classroom, for the community, because a lot of our presidential leadership scholars will go out into the community and do community service, and also provide an internship with many of the businesses or clubs here in our community.
I know sometimes a donor might think that their scholarship doesn't have much impact on the institution. They can probably see the benefit it provides to the student. And certainly when the student writes that thank you note, or when the family can thank that donor at one of the receptions, that's seen. But what about the donor seeing the impact that it makes on the institution? And certainly when you look at the impact of the Presidential Scholarship Program on the institution, the academic climate has increased significantly.
Very much so. Very much so. I mean, we had a few honors classes, just 5 to 6 years ago, but now we have a much larger opportunity for students to take a wider variety of those types of classes. It's also developed into an honors organization, and they have been doing a lot of wonderful community service projects. I believe they were part of the packaging of food that we held.
Phi Theta Kappa and the Student Honors Council did the Nominate project and packaged over 2,000 meals. Over 20,000.
20,000, I believe.
Over 20,000 meals in a matter of 2 hours.
Yeah. So both of those programs have evolved, but they've brought things back to our community. And I think donors see that, and when they get to see that the students are reaching back out into our community and providing some services, I think they're very pleased to be a part of that.
So they can see benefit to student, they can see benefit to institution, and they can see also changes that are taking place at institution because of their contribution and because of a program.
Yeah, and their donation is making a change in the lives of the students that they're helping. A lot of those students would not be able to be as involved because they may be working 2 part-time jobs as opposed to maybe just working 1 part-time job and going to school full-time. Yeah. It's a huge impact.
That is an interesting point. Most of our students do work, even scholarship recipients.
Yes, they do.
But this allows them perhaps to work 1 less job than just having a job as well as going to school. Yeah,
I just got done visiting with some of our nursing students, and one of the nursing students shared with me that she is working full-time and going to school full-time, and she did receive a scholarship from us, and so that has a major impact, that when you're doing both of those things, and you potentially may have a family that you're responsible for too. So scholarships are very important, and they do mean a lot to our students.
You know, when you talk about that nursing population, it's such a unique population because many of those students are non-traditional students.
Yes.
So not only do they have school, not only do they have a part-time or full-time job, they also have a family they've got to maintain and keep up as well. So there certainly are lots of demands on that student's time.
Yeah, and also with that student population, one thing that the Alumni Association offers to students is a Childcare Scholarship. And that has been very important over the years that we've been doing that, to be able to help a single parent or parents who both are working and one is trying to go to school, to help them with that cost, because childcare has gotten very expensive. And so we're able to help them with a little bit going towards the childcare, thus giving the parent the ability to go to school, know that their child or children is in a safe environment and in a daycare facility where they're also learning.
You know, one of the things we want to talk about after our break is the Alumni Association. You touched on it briefly, the role of the Alumni Association at an institution like Hutchinson Community College, and maybe what your vision is for the Alumni Association often to the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
So with that, let's take a brief break and learn more about some programs at Hutchinson Community College. Good evening and welcome back to the HCC Experience. Tonight's guest is Cindy Keast. Cindy is the director of the Alumni Association and Endowment Association. We talked quite a bit about the endowment function at Hutchinson Community College, the number of scholarships that are awarded, and also the benefit and gain that scholarships provide for the students as well as the institution. I thought we might talk a little bit now about the Alumni Association and the role of the Alumni Association at a higher education institution. Cindy?
Well, our role of the Alumni Association, again, is to build relationships with our former alums and also to start that relationship process with our students who are attending HCC right now. Several of the things that we do is the Alumni Association each fall during homecoming will host an annual tailgate. And
that was a great success this year.
It was a huge success.
How many people do you think you had go through?
We probably had over 300, 325 go through this year. Weather was perfect. Great football game. You know, HCC playing Butler, so you couldn't have a better thing, and it was homecoming. But we would like to see that increase. We know there are many more alums out here in Hutchinson and the surrounding area, and we would love to have them come and join us at the tailgate. The other things that we do is it will be coming time to spring semester to pick our Alumnus of the Year. And that will be coming up. And if someone would like to nominate an Alumnus of the Year, all they need to do is write us a letter with the alumnus's name, telling us some of the activities they've been involved in the community and what they might know of them involvement at the college, and that they would like to see them be considered for this honor and recognition. We recognize the Alumnus of the Year with a luncheon during graduation, and then we recognize them also at graduation ceremonies. So if anyone is interested in that, they can call me at the college. The number is 665-3565, or they can send the letter to us in care of the college to my attention, and we can put it through the review process.
I think that Alumnus of the Year usually is on the cover of the HCC Now publication as well.
Yes, it is. And we also do an article on them highlighting the different things that they have been involved in with Hutchinson Community College and their community, And we always look forward to see the nominations each year. We always have a nice selection.
What's our membership like in the Alumni Association?
Well, we are working very diligently to keep it growing. Right now, it's, I would say, 300 to 400 plus, but we've got so many more people out there that we don't know where they are. And if you have attended Hutchinson Community College, graduated from HCC, we consider you to be an alum, and we would love to hear from you. So please feel free to contact us. We have membership information that you can join the Alumni Association and help us like with tailgate events. And we also have a fundraiser of the clothing booth at the football games and the basketball games. And we would also like to start having some reunions, getting the alums together, visiting with former faculty that were there, and just letting everybody see the changes in the college, because the college has really changed and grown over the past 10 years. A lot of significant changes.
I think it's kind of interesting when you look at our Alumni Association. It's not the vast number that you have at a K-State or KU, because we're a community college, and we really haven't done maybe a very effective job over the years of keeping track of our graduates. And so we're trying to go back and reconstruct some of that and bring some of those people into the fold, identify them, find out where they are, what they are doing, and their contributions to either their workplace or society or whatever it might be. But they are out there.
They are.
And when you look at this community, all you have to do is look at the attorneys in town, how many of the attorneys attended Hutchinson Community College, pharmacists, most of the pharmacists attended Hutchinson Community College, many physicians, of course nurses, all across the board. Educators all across the board.
A lot, and a lot of people who went into farm and ranch management. We've got a wide variety of alums in the Reno County and the service area that we would love to be in contact with and know what they're doing.
So when you look at that I guess pool for us, I think one of the issues that we have many times as a community college is that graduate sees that four-year school as perhaps the last place he or she's graduated from, and having more loyalty to that than the community college. How do we turn that around? How do we bring that person into the fold and convince that person that we certainly had a significant part of their professional career and their professional growth?
I think a lot of that is through contact, staying in touch with them, whether it be through Facebook or whether it be through our website. I think working on that process is going to be an impact. Our students who are graduating and going on to either a four-year university or going on out into the workplace, many of them are using that means as communication as before, like, with you and I, it was more letters, personal letters, things through the mail. The lines of communication have changed, and so we've got to change with that to try and stay in touch with them. And I think inviting them back for activities on campus is important, keeping that relationship going. And we move so much that sometimes it's hard to keep up with the different moves that people make and to stay in touch with us.
I know we have phone numbers, and now people don't have phones.
Right.
We have cell phones, and people many times don't answer their cell phone. They think it's going to be somebody that is a solicitor, and even your email isn't read. And you have Twitter. I guess that's a possibility, but I'm not sure how many people tweet.
Yeah.
And then you have Facebook. So we have all sorts of different social media out there that our graduates are using.
Yeah, and we've just got to use some of those medias, and I think Facebook is one that we've started using and can continue to work and develop that into a bigger component for us through the media and being able to keep in touch with people.
One of the things that we have certainly with our Alumni Association and our endowment are boards, and you have great leadership from your board. Who heads up your Endowment Association board of directors now? Who's your leadership on that board?
Pat Fallon is our president of the HCC Endowment Board, and Linda Hausch is the president of the Alumni Association board. And so we have really good leadership on both of those boards, have a lot of involvement, and we also look forward to, every 2 years we get new board members on that bring some new insight and some new suggestions of things for us on how to grow and new activities to do.
So that's the great community contact.
Yes.
Through that board of directors on both of those organizations.
And on both boards, many of them are alums of Hutchinson Community College, so that's even a great component to have of being one of our board members. Is they've got that familiarity with the college, they've got that relationship, and they know a little bit about HCC and how it impacted their lives and made a difference.
So that's the case with our Board of Trustees as well. Our Board of Trustees, I think 6 of the 7 members attended Hutchinson Community College or graduated from Hutchinson Community College. And that, of course, makes them really invested in the institution. They know about the institution, and they can attribute a lot of who they are and where they're at to Hutchinson Community College.
Yeah. What I would like to do at this point on behalf of you and I is I would like to extend an invitation to any of those people who are watching this and who have attended Hutchinson Community College and or graduated from here. We would love to have you give us a call, come back on campus, take a tour, and show you the changes and just give you an update on how HCC has grown since maybe you've attended here. Many of the people who live in Hutchinson haven't been on our campus for ages, and there's been some dramatic changes and quite well for our students.
Yeah, the campus has changed dramatically, and I think certainly you can look to a Board of Trustees who has had a huge, took great ownership in making that happen. Cindy, I know that you have this time of year some people looking at tax advantages as they end up the year. Could you recommend maybe a scholarship as they're looking at their tax situation and what that might be toward the end of the calendar year? Perhaps giving it to a local entity, a Hutch Community College student, instead of having that go back to the feds.
Yeah. Well, we are always more than welcome to sit down and visit with anybody who is interested in making a one-time gift or endowing a scholarship. To endow a scholarship is a wonderful thing because that will always be there. And it will be something that 5, 10, 20 years from now that we will be able to help students with. We are more than happy to visit with you because that can help your tax situation. And besides that, you know that you are helping a student better their lives and making a difference and an impact on them.
What about the Alumni Association? That would be a great gift too. If you knew somebody was a graduate of Hutchinson Community College, what would a gift of a lifetime membership be for an individual? It
would be $100.
So if you wanted that person that has everything, give them a lifetime membership in the Hutchinson Community College Alumni Association.
And the other thing that you could do as recognition as a Christmas gift or even birthday or whatever occasion, we have 3 different areas that you could do. We just recently have renovated the B.J. Warner Recital Hall in the Stringer Fine Arts Building, and we have these seats, and you are able to have an engraved nameplate put on a seat, and that is a $100 contribution. Those scholarship dollars will go to help students who are in the Fine Arts Department. So you can have a name recognition on a chair there. We also have in Gowan Stadium, we have the stadium seats that again you can have your name engraved on a nameplate. You also could do maybe if you had a faculty member that was one of your favorites, you could recognize he or she. Then also we have between Lockman Hall and the Parker Student Union building, we have a scholarship courtyard where you can have a donor brick with someone's name engraved on it. All 3 of those options are $100. They each go to help fine arts scholarships. Gowan Stadium goes to help athletics. And then the scholarship courtyard goes to help just general academic scholarships. Be a great way to recognize someone in your family or if they attended HCC, and a great way to help a student.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Cindy, on the HCC Experience, and we also thank our listeners, our viewers for being with us this evening. We will see you again in another edition of the HCC Experience. Thank you for joining us.